Sanbonani Dumelang, goeiemiddag, good morning or good afternoon. And it is my great privilege to be able to come and address the Cape Town Press Club. It's also good to see fellow South Africans who are here, members of the press, members of the diplomatic corps. It's good to have students from SACS. I thought I should acknowledge them because I hear here in Cape Town the divide is between whether you go to SACS or Rondebosch or something like that. So I didn't want to start a fight, but it's good to have students from SACS here. It's also good to see you, Benny, and it's great for you to having brought so many South Africans to come and listen to us speak and share what our dream for South Africa is. Donald, thank you for setting up today, because I thought when you made that Freudian slip, it isn't really, it's you should rather say same WhatsApp group between Mr. Zuma and Mr. Ramaphosa. Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves with a quarter of a century into the new democratic era in South Africa. Nelson Mandela articulated it best when he said these words. It's not that we're free, but have merely achieved the freedom to be free. Implicit in that statement is the idea that South Africa began a journey. Many of us who are sitting in this room can remember those elections all too well in 1994. We can remember the signing of the Constitution subsequent to that. We're all delighted in the fact that South Africa could build this nation, where the fight was never against a particular race, but against a system that locked out too many people. That's why it was possible, post then, that we could emerge together as one nation. We all were destined to believe that actually freedom could reign, that more people will be able to find work, more people will be able to live in homes. One day, as we included into our Constitution, Section 25, it was brought on there because South Africans inherently believe that each individual will be able to own property, build their own homes. The journey was exciting. I was a child in Dobsonville in Soweto. I remember watching this as I accompanied my parents to go cast their vote. You would swear that it felt like all their dreams were about to come true, that their kids would finally experience something different to what they could experience, or they experienced. They felt deep within them the burden of the pain of apartheid with them, but they knew that out of the ashes of apartheid, a new South Africa could emerge. We traveled well. We began a journey. South Africa's economy began to grow. But like anyone who enters a journey, you know it's not always a straightforward path. We hit some potholes along the way. We suffered many bad drivers, and I don't have to speak about some of those. But what's become completely disturbing today is that it would feel like the bus is no longer moving forward. That somewhat we've lost our way. Somewhat the wheels are starting to fall off. Fellow South Africans, I think South Africa goes into a crossroads. We've hit a point in our journey where we have to choose deliberately which route we're going to go. The question simply put is, do we remain on the same broken bus, on the same dead-end road, or do we choose a different path? There's always a path laid out by liberation movements. You see, all liberation movements tell the people of this country that we have to liberate you from something. And in frankness, when I reflect as to what took place recently in the DRC, and I look at what's happening in the continent of Africa, I know one thing, that the theme rings over and over again, that liberation movements will all behave in the same manner. When I look at our own liberation movement here, that is the ANC, the traits are pretty much the same. We're seeing a government that is borrowing tactics from other liberation movement and perhaps from one other liberation movement in the old National Party.